Hi everyone. It's good to see you all again. I know it's been a while since I went live or even posting anything on YouTube. It's been a very busy time for me since I um, sat for the step three, and I wanted to always make this video to discuss how it went, but I've not really had the chance to do it. Today I definitely want to take just a little bit of time to make this video. It's been very busy for me. Thanks for joining. If you can comment and tell me where you're joining from, I'll be very happy to know. I'm very happy to know. This session is going to be interactive, and then I'll try to leave a link. I'll leave a link so that if you want to join and then say anything, talk, ask any questions, you can definitely do so, and then you can talk with me directly. Yeah. So as everybody knows, marching into residency, before we start residency, there's a lot to do, even more than I anticipated. There's so much preparation to do. And so all that have taken my time from all of you. And it's sometimes even difficult to respond to emails, but I try my best to reply all that those I can. I get people from LinkedIn, more especially from LinkedIn. They message me a lot, and I have to make time to connect with everybody and answer questions. So if you are just joining us, let's know where you are joining from, and then where you're watching from. And also kindly share the link wherever you can share it so that people who are interested in this USMLE discussion will be able to join. Um, um, and just to be sure that my um, y'all can hear me, can you hear my voice? Can someone just type yes or no there for me? Can you hear my voice? Does my voice come clear? Do I sound clear? Does it even come at all? Can someone just type a yes for me to be able to tell? Let me see from here. Let me see from here. Mm, Let me see from here. Okay, awesome. I'll take this. Mute. Let's see. Yeah, it was muted for a minute. Um, yeah. Was muted for a minute. Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. Thank you. Yeah, so thanks everybody for joining. Can I know who is it, Debbie? Debbie, may we know where you are watching from? I'm very interested in knowing how far my videos are going, and wherever you're watching from, just you can just put it in the comments for me. So just as I was saying, like the last time I posted a video, I think it should be like maybe 2 months now. So yeah, it should be like 2 months now, and I haven't had a chance to post any video since. Um, so all of you remember that in February we found out that we had matched into residency, and then what happened was that I wanted to clear the step three before I begin. So I had to take some time to prep for that. At the same time, I had to take care of other responsibilities as well. So that took most of my time. That's why I've not been able to post any video. There's so much to do. Yeah, yeah. So I as I think I posted this on my channel, my step three score result. Step three was like 2 days. It was 2 days, and what I did was I scheduled in such a way that I left 6 days in between the 2 days. So the first one was yeah, I think 6 days in between. So the second one, I remember the date vividly. That was on this May 2nd, and I got my results back, and I mean, I passed comfortably. I just wanted to clear it so that during residency, I will not be thinking about it. Because in residency, we also have some tests that will be taken yearly. We'll be taking ITEs, which is the in training exams, and we take that yearly. In PGY1, we will take it in September, and every year we'll take it in September, and that is a test to tell how ready you are for the board exams. And um, for those who do not know, after residency, you are also expected to take another exam, which is the board exam. So whatever program that you do, if you are doing internal medicine, family medicine, surgery, like they all have their boards that oversee them. So in order to have that board certification, to say you are board certified, you will also take an exam at the end of residency. So most of the residency programs have their curriculum designed in such a way that they see how you perform, or so that they can help you. What they want is that every student should be able to pass, and when they are able to maintain that high percentage of pass rate, the accreditation, they maintain the accreditation. But when students are not performing well in the program, then they are likely to lose the accreditation. That is why most of the programs, when they first of all go for students who they think can pass the board exams. That's the main thing they're looking for. They want students who can pass the board exams on the first try. So how do they determine that? They determine that by looking at your track record from school and from the USMLE. If you took this step one attempt, step two, one attempt, step three, one attempt, then you are likely to also take the board exam in one attempt. That is what the programs want. That's why some of them will tell you that if you wrote a step twice, do not apply. Some of them want someone who has only taken the steps just on one attempt. So you have to bear in mind that that is important to the program. So when you are taking your exams, for those who will be thinking that they are just going in to try, you should bear in mind that this is some of the reason why you don't want to just go in and try. If you are not ready, you should sit your butt down and prep well before you go into the exam. You don't want to go in struggling to pass, Yeah, so you should keep that in mind when you are um, you are also prepping for the exam. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is for some of the things that I've seen going into residency, there are a lot of modules. For my program, for instance, like we are using the Hopkins module, and this Hopkins module, it's an online platform where which has been designed by physician educators from Johns Hopkins University, and they use that to train doctors in residency. So they have the modules that are designed for every system and every disease condition. And so in PGY1, we are expected to complete some number of modules. In PGY2, we are supposed to complete some number. So, and the modules also comes with their own pre-test and post-test. So that's what we are doing. Currently, we are supposed to begin with hypertension, lipid management, diabetes. That's what we should do before we come into start the residency program. And honestly, it's hard. It's hard. Like, I must admit the fact. It's really hard, and so I did some of the pre-tests, and it's nothing like the USMLE. Like, it's hard. Like, so for lipid management, the first one, I scored less than 50%, and I'm not proud about that, but it is a wake-up call for me that, hey, you need to wake up from the USMLE way of learning, and hopefully I'll improve over time. Yeah, so it means that this is a time to build more knowledge. This time we are actually going to treat the patients. All the knowledge that we've gotten, we have to learn how the patients are being treated here in our hospital. So let me look at this first question. Somebody wrote the first question here. Let's see. Hey, what's the minimum score on step 2 that I can get to secure an IM residency, and knowing that I don't have publications with a pass on step 1? Okay. Some people say 260 will guarantee a match. So Mohammed, to answer your question, this is a very important question. Like, it's a very clear, elaborate question. I think you've hit like, you've talked about everything that you want to know. So I wouldn't say that there is a clear, like, there's no guarantee. I can assure you that there's no guarantee that if you get a high score, you are going to match. No, it's not like that. There are several things that make one match into a residency program. Now, program directors do not just look at your score. So you realize that during the interviews, they select several students. Now, those students, they vary in scores, right? We all vary in score. There may be someone who will get a 220, someone will get a 210, someone will get a 260, 280, and all that. Now, some of the programs, after they've selected you for the interview, you'll have several attendings plus the program director interview you. Now, why I'm talking about this is that some of the programs would not show your scores to the attendings. So maybe the PD may have an idea about your score, but the attendings that are going to interview you don't have any idea about your score, but they are just interviewing you to know what skill or what you are bringing into the exam other than what you are bringing into the program other than your score, right? So at the point of interview, you are all same. Your score has nothing to say about you, right? So if I got an interview with 220, 210 on step 2, or 280, once we've all gotten interview, we are all same, right? So there's no guarantee that if you get a 280 or 2 something, you are going to match. So the battlefield actually is the interview. Now, why should we choose you? You see, that's what the programs usually want to know. Why should they choose? So that is when you have to show that, oh, other than my score, let's put my score aside. I have this, I have that, I have that. Some people try to talk about their publications. For me, what I encourage people to do is that you should
direct the interview the way you want to. You are the one who wants to talk about what is interesting about you that you are bringing to the program. So you should be the one to direct it. Now, if you allow the PD to direct the interview, what if they send it into a direction that you don't like, right? That you cannot talk about. And there are some people, and because they are, let's say, they are not so much versed into like research, right? So they cannot really talk confidently about their or comfortably about their research work, right? So in that case, you don't want to lead you don't want the PD or the attending to lead the direction to that. So you have to talk about something that is more interesting to you. For instance, there was one of the interviews that I was doing when I I spoke about my hobbies, and I said I love to watch the news. Like, I cannot go a day without watching the news. I cannot sleep without watching the news, right? Because when I wake up in the morning, the news is the first thing. Throughout the day, I monitor different channels to know what is going on around the world. And before I sleep, I also watch the news. My ears really love to hear the news. So when I start talking about that, then that the PD, it was attending. He started talking about what is going on in the news. He started talking about the Ukraine war. He started talking about racism. He started, so all the things that are going to the news, and that was the only thing we talked about, right? That was the only thing we talked about, and we talked about that over 15 to 20 minutes, right? So if you're able to make it the conversation interesting, then it goes to your benefit. So, Mohammed, coming back to your point, a 260 is not a guarantee. It is getting an interview. Maybe a 260 will say something about you so that you'll be selected, but you can have a 260 if the program wants publications and you do not have it, you are not going to get an interview, right? So that is it. Now you can get a 260 if you got that on the second attempt and the program wants you to get that on the first attempt, you are likely not to get. Now there are some programs who also give a cutoff that, okay, for internal medicine we want only 250 and above. We want 240 and above. If that is the case for the program you're applying to, then it's a plus for you because now you meet that cutoff, but you need to add other things. There are people, personally, I got a 250 and I got what and I got several interviews and I marched into internal medicine, right? And now people are saying 260. 260 is not a guarantee. I also know people who got 220 and they march into internal medicine, right? So it is about trying to present your application in such a way that you will get the interview. The interview is the most important thing for me. You should be selected among the few who will be interviewed. Now, if you think that publications are needed in the program that you are going to apply for, kindly get some publications, write some case reports. Those are easy to write. Case reports are you can use one day to write them in 5 or 10, right? So you can write those ones and find some journal and publish them. At least it's a skill that you are showing. Now, another thing also that I tell people, I'm yet to verify this. Like when I go into my program, I'll definitely ask my PD about it. That for the publications, they are important for fellowship. So if you are not going to do fellowship, then it's not really necessary. So if you are going to tell your PD during the interview that, oh, I want to do fellowship, cardiology fellowship, then what do you have as your baseline to show that you can add more publications to be considered for a fellowship? That is how it is. But if I'm going to just be a hospitalist, I don't need publications to be a hospitalist, right? If I'm going to be a family practitioner, I don't need publications to be a family practitioner. So it depends on what you are telling them, that your long-term goals, your short-term goals. They look at that and say, does your application have anything in that to say that, okay, I want to do fellowship in the future? Right. So if your applications do not have publications, but you are telling the PD that you want to do cardio fellowship in the future, then they will think that you are not ready for cardiology fellowship, so you don't qualify for their program. So it's a lot that is needed to match, not your score. Your score might only get an interview for you, right? But after that, what else? Now, Connections are also very important. Getting connections are very important. Now, connections are people who are vouching for you, that you, maybe they know you, um they've worked with you, or they've schooled with you, and they know how good you are and you qualify for to be in that program. Those also helps, especially people who have low scores, especially those who do not have the green card, and I mean, not everybody, and also those who are not citizens. Connections also work, and it's not illegal, because every program wants, the best people they want is the people that they actually know, that this person, if I train him, he will learn, he's trainable, he has a track record. And if people are there to testify, then it helps you. So Mohammed, your question is very long. I can talk about it the whole day, but thanks for asking this question. But um there is no cut off, but you should just present a score that is good enough, like a 240, 230 wouldn't be bad, right? To match. Yeah. Um, Sorry I took long on that question. More questions are coming in. I'll take time to talk about all of them. Let's see this one. Say thanks for always churning out fact and helpful information for IMGs. Thank you. Let's see this one. Jerry, what does your life look like at the moment? What is your schedule when moving to another city? Oh my God, like this question. Wow, this is a very interesting question. Like, so, um, I think all of you can see my eyes. Like my eyes are red right now. My life is it's, you know, I don't want to say this. I don't know whether there will ever be a time that I'll say, okay, I'm ready to, for this time, I'm ready to start residency. But we just have to start, there's no time to say I'm ready to start residency. But I'm going to just say something. Don't tell anybody, okay? Just don't tell anybody. So when I'm talking with my study partner, we are like, hey, do you know, like, maybe we should have taken 1 year, to just rest after all this stress. Like we should have taken 1 year to rest and then like apply next year. That's how the feeling is, to be frank. I don't hide anything from you people. I want to say everything just as it is. The feeling is like I wish I could take like 6 months or 1 year just to rest, like do nothing USMLE related, because we've been learning from like since 2019 for this exam. And now that we have like we passed step one and we needed to do step two, right after step two, like we had to apply for March. Right after March, we did a lot of interviews. Right after interview, we have to do step three. Right after step three, we have to go into residence. So there's no time to rest. So sometimes I've done nothing and like my muscles are just aching, Um, Now coming to moving to another city, my story is kind of unique. So I live in Texas and my program is in Maryland, and driving is 23 hours. Now, I lived in Texas for 4 years to 5 years, so all my belongings are there, everything. When I decided to move here, now I have to find accommodation. Let me just talk fast. I have to find accommodation. Now, I was looking online and I'm not finding what I want, because sometimes you look at it online, the picture they have is just a model, right? So you don't get to see the specific room you are going to. So I decided that, okay, at the time I finished my step three, which was beginning of the first week of May, I took 2 weeks to go to my country, Ghana, quickly, just to take care of some projects over there. So I went exactly 2 weeks. I came back, and right when I got back, 2 weeks after I got back, we are supposed to start residency, right? When I got back, I stayed in Texas for like 4 days. Then I hit the road. Before I went to Ghana, I moved all my stuff into storage, so that my rent had expired, so I don't have a home in Texas. And now I also have to move all my belongings, and I'm driving a sedan, a Camry, and now I'm alone, right? Do I have to rent a U-Haul truck and rent like and put my camera behind it and load stuff in it, and then put my mattress and everything at the back of it, of the U-Haul truck. And that was one thing. But renting U-Haul truck from Texas to here for that long period, like I felt like I'm going to spend more. So I gave my couch and sofa, they were relatively new. So I gave them out. Luckily, I got this college students, so I gave them out to them for free, so that I mean, they were happy, and that is satisfying. They were happy because they also rented an apartment and they didn't have anything in it. So they got my couch, they got the love seat, and they got a lot of other things I cannot mention. So now I pack everything all into boxes and I put them into my sedan, pack them very well. All my kitchen stuff, they came with me. All other things, this table, study table came, is a foldable one, so it came with me. And all my clothing came with me. And so I got here and I checked into Airbnb that I stayed in for number of days, like 1 week exactly. I got here on last week Thursday, and I managed to get a place, and I moved into my apartment yesterday. And then aside the movement and everything, like you have to change your driver license, you have to change your plates. There's a lot of modules from work that I have to do, epic training, ACLS, and other things. You have to go and do pre-employment labs, take some shots. Oh my God, my shoulder even hurts right now. So it's a lot. It's just a lot. It's a lot. Sometimes I feel like it's too much for one person. It's a lot. But and then I got my schedule also from work, and I'm beginning from ICU night, and I'm asking myself, am I ready to start from ICU? ICU, like, am I ready? Like, hey, some of you should come and help us, come and help us. So that is how my life has been looking like. It's busy. There's always something to do and a lot of deadlines. Yeah. And I also have to, take care of myself too. There's no time for even sometimes I go without eating and I don't know that I've not eaten. Yeah. Okay, so Jan Wolf, this how my life looks like since I found out that I'm much into residency. Now let's move quickly to the next one. There's a lot of questions to answer. Oh my God. Oh my God, too many questions, a lot. Okay, let's try. So do you think Melman PDF replace first aid? How? Like who is Melman? Like his PDF replace first aid? Like how? There is nothing that can replace first aid. Okay, there's nothing that can replace first aid. So I didn't use his PDF. I think it was during the time that I was taking studying for step 2 that I heard about him. And I think there was a time he was asking me to give a review about his PDFs when I have not used it. Like he's telling me to write good comments about his PDF and say it in a video, and I have not used your PDF. I cannot do that. I haven't read his PDF, so I cannot really comment about it. I know a lot of people have been talking about it, but hey, I have no comment to give about it. But nothing can replace the first aid, please. Okay. This for step 1. If people have used it, because I feel like the knowledge is the same, right? If of course things from his PDF will be in UWorld, will be in the first aid. So knowledge is just like a replication of the materials. So I wouldn't say anything can replace the first aid. After first pass of UWorld, how long is okay for revision before taking the step 1? Is 4 to 6 weeks okay to review marked and incorrect questions? It's hard to say. Everybody is different. Now, if you are able to extract the information from first aid from the UWorld very well, if you're able to extract the enough information from it, that you should, because some people just finish the first pass and maybe they only get 20% of knowledge from it, when you're actually supposed to be getting like 80% to 90% knowledge from it. So if you can really extract the knowledge from it and review them consistently, then you should maybe just a second pass and incorrect questions would be okay for you um to to sit for the step one. But how would you know that? You have to take the self-assessments and the NBMs to know whether your knowledge is something that is close to passing the exams. Yeah. So I cannot give you a specific time, that 4 to 6 weeks. The best thing to do for yourself is study step one well. You study step one well, that's the foundation. And when your foundation is strong, nothing can shake it. No matter how heavy the storm is, like, it cannot shake it. But if you build on a foundation that is weak, and then you think that you can put your step two on it, if your step one is shaky and you place step two on it, like, it's not gonna work. It will be shaky. Okay. So for me, I would say study step one very well. When you study step one very well, step two, you don't need a lot of time. 4 months, 6 months is good. I would do that versus some people will study step one shallow, they pass comfortably. Some will say I've passed, but some of the pass I believe is gonna be like a low pass, like gonna be maybe 200, 198. If you pass like that, it means that you didn't really review your materials well. Now, when you come to step two, you might struggle. Everybody and the way they approach this exam, but spend enough time and study step one well. Do not rush it. Do not register for the exam when you are not passing your assessments. Make sure you are passing your assessments. You are almost ready for the exam before you pay that money. Because I know people who go into the exam and take it because they feel like they are going to lose their registration money, so they just go in and take it. If you're lucky to go, or if you're not lucky, then the other news will come. So I hope I answered your question. Let's go to the next one. Do you think America is worth it? I mean, if this is a big question, do I think it's worth it? And what are you looking for? What do you want in America? If you are coming to America, what do you want? Okay. Um, Life is good here for some people. If you are doing well, life is horrible for some other people. People in, like, my country, Africa, are very happy, even though not everybody is rich. They're the same here in America, because if you have to pay bills, you have to pay for your rent. If you don't have the money, how do you pay? So you find a lot of homeless people in America as well. Right. So it depends on what you are looking for. If you are trying to get a place to, let's say, the state of the art facility to practice in, and you feel like you don't get that in your home country, job satisfaction, for me, it's worth it. Now, you can come and learn from here and replicate in your home country. That is my mission, right? So if I'm able to achieve that, then I'll say it's worth it. But if I fail to replicate whatever is here in my home country, then I will not be happy with myself. That is when I will say that, okay, America is worth it. But there is a lot of good things here. There's a lot of good things here. So it's up to you to define what you want, what you mean by, is it worth it? Are you here? Are you just coming for to make maybe maybe some people may think that, oh, the pay is higher or something, but hey, there's a lot of hard work to put in to get those high salary. Okay, let's go to next one. Do you think, okay, you're from Sudan, all right. Let's see this one. This is a long one. Please, for IMGs that their school certification accreditation with WFME expires this year, and they are not sure when it will be renewed. What's the best option for them to book a slot for the USMLE? Yeah, basically they say that if you are already in the process, then it does not cover, like, it does not affect you if you're already in the process. But if you are in school, then I would say don't make any attempts right now. Because if you are in school, whether you register or not, from 2024, you will need to have graduated from that school, and the school should also be accredited, right? So if you are in school, don't attend. But if you are done with school, then I'll say begin the process now. That way you are included. But if you don't begin now and then you wait until 2024, then maybe a different news might come. But for any advice, contact the ECFMG directly for advice. I think they are very responsive, so call them and then they'll explain to you. Thank you. Let's see. Yeah, so that's what I've said. Like, if you register and you are in school, you're still not included. Yeah, if you register and you are in school, your school is not accredited. You don't want to do that. But if you have finished that school that you think might lose the accreditation, then you can start now. Yeah. Okay, let's see next one. I see, really appreciate your response. One other thing, I want to apply for March this cycle. That's 2024 cycle, and I will sit for step 2 in August. But the problem is I haven't yet got the USC. You think it's a must? USC is not a must. There are people who march into residency without the USC. I've talked about this before. I personally know people who have marched into residency without the USC. So it's not like a must. But make sure that those like the letter of recommendation that you are getting, they are from like top people, like, let's say, in your home country, the dean of the academic program in your hospital, maybe the program director, program coordinator of your internal medicine program, if that's what you're applying for, and they need to write a very good thing about you. Like, they need to be able to say, I know this guy and I know he can do the job. They need to be able to say that, that way it's good. But USC, it's always supersedes the external ones. Yeah. Yeah. So if you're writing in August, writing step in August, and make sure that I think by the 30th of August you should have gotten your you should have taken it. But if you don't have USC, if you still want to go ahead, get strong letters of recommendation from your home country. It works as well. All right. Let me see your next question. This is why I'm trying to compensate with high score. That's also good. That's also good. But just bear in mind that once you get an interview, your scores don't matter anymore. Okay. So you have to let's see this next one. Hi Jerry, always watch your videos. Thank you. Also, are you going to make video on step 3? I'm taking it in August. I'll try to make a video on step 3, but I can say something quickly. Basically, when I was taking step 3, the goal was to pass it. I didn't mind so much about how much I will get. I just wanted to take it before residency begins. So that was my goal. But if you are someone who is going to take step 3 before you march, then you want to get, something above maybe 220s. I got a 210, which is a comfortable pass. And I don't have to think about step 3 or USMLE anymore. So it depends on where you are. Now, when I was taking it, I did, I think, 64% of UWorld just one time. The first pass, 64%. That's what I did. I'm not saying do same. And then I trusted my past, my previous knowledge, because I did step 1. I took a lot of time doing step 1, so I trusted my previous knowledge. I did 6 days of CCS cases, and I placed my bet on the day 1, which is a multiple choice, because there are a lot of step 1 information in it. And even though I met some difficulties, and then for the CCS cases also, I did 54 cases. Of the high yield, 54 cases. That's what I did. And I went into the exam and I got a 210. So that's simple what I did. It's not too difficult. You just have to follow your principles that you use for step 1 and step 2, and also learn the format of the CCS cases, and you will be fine. Uh, let's see. Next one from. I know some people have sent multiple questions. So what I'm going to do is that I'll try to give everybody the chance, and I'll come back again and see those who have asked like 3 questions. I'll see their other questions. Thanks, Jerry. I will appreciate if you take the questions sequentially so you don't miss out on any. Yeah, this is good because I'm also thinking this because there are some people who have asked like 3, 4, 5, 6 questions. And so if I'm going to take it sequentially, then that means that I'll have to address all their 6 questions before I come to the next person, which I think will not be fair to all of us. So I'll try to balance both. Thank you. I don't know if you had asked a question already. Let me see. Okay. Okay, I have seen your question. I think I addressed that. Now, let's see this one. I have done my step 2 CK first pass, but only 57% overall. Is it like 57%? Is that your pass rate overall? What should I do to improve? Okay, you want to improve. When I was doing step 2, I did first pass. Okay, and I was making notes. And I was writing in my exercise book, thinking that it's not a lot. But as time went on, you realize it becomes more, and it's difficult to come back and review them. Now, when after the first pass and I did my assessment, I realized that my score was not improving. So all the notes that I took, I made all the notes into flashcard, into Anki flashcards, and I started doing Anki flashcard. I did 2 months of Anki flashcards before going into the exam, but I spent a lot of time on the Anki flashcards because most of the things were already in the UWorld. I took them from UWorld. So when I'm doing the flashcard and I go back to UWorld, it's like the answers are just from my flashcards. That's how I felt. The answers are from my flashcards, so my scores improved faster, and then I took it. So I will say that when you start doing your incorrect questions and and then the difficult correct questions that you made, make sure you put them into Anki flashcards and review them. I was doing like 4 hours of Anki flashcards almost every day. 4 hours of flashcards. Yeah, I hope that helps. Now let's go to Truth Teller. Do you think Amboss is enough for step 1? I only have 1,600 left, whilst you were 300 questions. Can I just finish Amboss to sit for step 1 quickly? I would think that Amboss is not the standard, because when I was doing step 1, I did both Amboss and I did UWorld as well. I will not say Amboss is the standard. Amboss to me is a supplemental knowledge, right? But unless you are going to read Amboss notes, the notes are very good. They have every information and even more, right? So UWorld is the gold standard. Go with UWorld. The length of the questions, the interface, everything looks just like the exam. So go with UWorld. The knowledge, everything. Go with UWorld and use Patoma and what Boss and Beyond for explanation. Do some sketchy micro, especially for that quick memory, and use flashcards. You will be fine. Now, if you finish UWorld and you think your scores are not improving, it is then that you selectively do Amboss for the systems that your scores are not improving in, and that is one of the fastest ways to go about it. I hope that helps. Now, thanks for your response. Graduate already. I have registered for ACFMG, but not sure whether to book for step 1 before 2023 ends. This question is dicey. If you have registered for ACFMG already, then I believe you're already studying. So if you are studying step 1 at this time, by getting to the end of the year, you should almost be ready. So I would maybe maybe in November you can register for the USMLE and pick a date, and you maybe can pick like maybe 6 months ahead of time and study again, and then you can take the exam, and then you will not be you will not be affected by the new rules. So you still have enough time to make that decision. Let's see next one. Do you have any videos on step 3 prep? No, I've not yet made any video on step 3 prep yet. I hope to do that in the future. Let's see, digoxin small dose. I did offline UL latest version because of low budget, and I'm about to finish. What next should I do? Is it crucial to do online UWorld? It is important to do online UWorld because it looks just like the exam. The timing, you need to practice timing. Offline does not really challenge your speed. In the exam you have only a 1 minute, I think, let me say 90 seconds. Now it's a 1 minute 30 seconds to read and answer your question. So you need to practice that before you go into the exam. So I will still do a little bit of the online, but if you think you do not have money at all, then you want to practice that on the self-assessments. At least try the online UL self-assessment, try the NBME self-assessments timed, so that you can get ready, because in the exam it's click and go, click and go. You read, click and go. Like, you need that speed, and you need to practice that speed at home before you go into the exam. So find a way to work on your speed. Okay. Also, just to add to that, if you intend to use Amboss, you can get the free trial where you can use that to practice for your speed if you are really low budget. Yeah, but mind you, this whole thing is an investment, and whatever you put into it, that's the kind of results that you get back. So it's an investment you are doing. So put all your resources into it, and you'll get a good result out of it. All right, let's see this one. What step 1 topics do you need to revise before step 3? It will be very difficult because everybody gets different questions, but generally I'll say you have to know, like, drug mechanism of actions, especially most of the antibiotics. You have to know a mechanism of action for them. Then other than that, maybe like, it's a long time, but let's say micro also. You have to know some basic stuff about the micro toxins and those things. There is a long time, but if you see them again, you might need like 2 minutes to, or 2 seconds to reason around it. So those basic stuff in the first aid, like, let's say if you are looking at an HIV drug and you want to know, is it CCX5, or how do we call it? Is it nucleotide or nucleoside, reverse transcriptase inhibitor, and all those things. So those things are important, like those basic stuff, those basic stuff, and they are very important. But it's difficult to tell you exactly, because what I got in my exam might be different, and I've even forgotten all the stuff that I got in my exam. But I just want you to know that those basic stuff, yeah. I hope I've talked about everybody's question. Let me see. Let's see this one here. Why do you think some people get a high step 2 score with one part of UWorld, and others do it twice plus Amboss and still score poorly? I keep forgetting details like what's best next step questions. Yeah. So it's personally, it's step 2, you have to build it on step 1. If you did step 1 very well, your step 2 is likely to be better, because some of the things Step 2 is based on your understanding, right, of step 1 information. Now, when you're doing step 2, I realized that certain things that are taught in step 1, they add more symptoms to it. Now, if you don't know the step 1 symptom, how do you add the step 2 symptoms to it, right? In step 2 or step 1, they tell you that these 2 signs and symptoms are classical for this. But in step 2, they'll tell you that, okay, even though this signs and symptom is there, because the patient has this also, it is not that. So you have to really understand your step 1 information. And basically, I think that is the reason. Now, also, step 2 also is more clinical. So a lot of people who have already been practicing, let's say in their home country, they are already they have been practicing internal medicine for a very long time, and so like when they go into step 2, they are likely to do very well. They are likely to do very well because it's more like hospital staff, So there are a lot of reasons why people might perform differently in step 2. Yeah. And if you keep forgetting, Anki flashcard is the most important thing to me. Put whatever you forget, put it in flashcard and look at it over and over. Revisit for space repetition, and that is helpful. Let's see if we find another question that we skip. Okay, I think I answered everybody's question. If I didn't answer your question, please type it again for me. Okay, and I'm wishing everybody good luck in your journey. I want you all to know that it is doable. Okay, it is doable. It's difficult, it's hard, it's very challenging, but it's doable. Just keep hitting hard and just don't quit. If you don't quit, a great result is awaiting you. Um, let's see. I have some questions here. Hello. I first gave NBME 20 in which I got 112 over 200. Then I gave 25, which I got 132 over 200. Can you please tell me which NBME should I give now so that I can book my exam? So when we were taking the NBMAs, those days we used to know which ones are more predictable. By when you go into Reddit group, in the step 1 group, we're able to know which ones are more predictable because most people have their scores, their step scores close to a certain NBME. So we say those ones are more predictable. Right now, if you are getting consistently like over 65%, then you are likely to replicate that in the exam, which is a pass. So I would say try as much as possible to get over 65%. Now the NBME is 20, 20 is in the old NBME, right? So if you take 20, you need to take 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Now from 25, 26, 27 up to 30, I don't know if they have added new NBMS right now, but you need to take all those NBMS up to 30. Don't forget they're up to 30. Try to take all the new ones step by step. Okay, if you feel like you've exhausted all your materials, make sure that there is you space them out like 1 week, like I used to do, like every 8 days if you've exhausted all your materials. But if you still have a lot of UWorld to do, then you can give yourself like 3 weeks in between them, right? So that you do UWorld and you come back to NBME, do UWorld, and then later come back to NBME. So like that. So you still have a lot to do. Don't just do 2 NBMEs and go into the exam. Try to do all the NBMEs. Even if questions don't come now, it trains your ability to face the exam. It also gets you ready for step 2. Okay. Let's see. Okay, everybody, you are all welcome. You are welcome to join me today. And right when I begin residency. I'll let all of you also know 3 months enough for you world. I wouldn't think that. I mean, in 3 months, if you are very diligent and you are consistently learning, like constantly, 3 months you should be able to finish you world. But you are not just learning you what to go and take the exams. You want to learn other materials also. You want to review. Your baseline knowledge is very important. And there are some people who USMLE is like is they are learning, their basis is not really good. They are working on it because of the USMLE. But if you are somebody whose basics like is very good already, then you are not going to spend a lot of time, right? But if your basics are not good, then kindly like take your time, okay? Be patient. There is no rush. There's no rush, okay? 1 year, 2 years wouldn't make you lose anything. It would rather show how resilient you are. It would rather show that you can stand the test of time. Do not rush, okay? Let's see. Is old free 120 a must for step one? Is it? I would say it's really not a must, because when they bring the free 120, like it's really telling you like how what the questions are at the moment, like how the questions are at that time that you're going to take your exams. Now, some people think that doing the old ones, they only help you to get to do more questions, okay, and meet more concepts which are already on UWorld. If you do UWorld very well, meticulously, and spend time on it, and you are doing the free 120, you will realize that every concept that I'm talking about is right in UWorld. Those days, I think by the time I was ready to take step one, I was getting 80 to 90% on the free 120 blocks, which shows that I've really done a lot of like I've really done a lot of diligence to the UWorld material. Yeah, so if you are doing UWorld very well, then you don't have to go back and do old NBMEs. But the NBMEs for sure, they are very important. I remember the time that I was taking step one, there were some questions on heart sound that I saw in the free 120, and I saw them on the exam itself. I saw about 5 questions from the free 120 that were similar, and then it really helped me like to work on my speed because I didn't spend time thinking about those. So definitely do the new ones. If you can go back 1 year to do 1 year like the previous years free 120, it will also be good. Yeah. Let's see here. Okay. Oyindamola, I hope I got your name right. Please, I'm about to do a dedicated study for step one for only July and August. My exam is in September. Do you think it's possible because my reading isn't being consistent? Yeah. That final word consistent is very important, very important. Everything is possible, nothing is not possible under this sun, right? But first of all, my advice to you is to look at your self-assessments. They are the best predictor. If your self-assessments are good, then you are good to go. But if you are not really doing well on the self-assessments, then it is then that you want to advise yourself on how to improve. If you need more reading time, which is very crucial to this exam, more reading time. Someone who reads more is more likely to perform high, like to get higher scores, because the exam is more like a reading subject. So if you read more, you are likely. So I don't know what is taking your time, but if it is anything that you can scale down on, it will pay you well when you go into the exam. So try to be more consistent. And if this is your dedicated time, July and August, that's 2 months. Usually dedicated is 4 months. Usually like you do dedicated, and like you do 4 months of dedicated reading, because you've been inconsistent. You've been inconsistent over some time, but when you come and sit home for like 3 to 4 months, you should be able to like read everything all over again. But it's possible. It's possible. Okay, it's possible. And I wish you all the best. But be truthful to yourself. If you are not ready, don't take it until you are ready. Okay, because that is very important. You don't want to go and try. You don't want to take the step one twice, because it limits your chances of getting into some of the residency programs. Yeah, I hope that helps. Let's see. I thought we're almost about to end. Let's see. Hello, I gave NBME 19 and I got 85 over 20. Only can you please tell me how to improve my score? Ben Carlson. Ben Carlson. Okay. So yeah, 85 over 200. Of course, we all know. If you find the percentage, let me see what percentage is that. Let me see, 85 over 200. So that is like 42%. That is like, let's be straight, that is a fail, right? That is a fail. Now you want to know how to improve. Improvement, basically, if you want to improve, you have to read more. Right. Now, when you read more, you need to retain more information. Now, which one works for you? Is it doing more questions? Because the more you do more questions, like the more you do questions, you will be able to build more concepts, more, you get more knowledge. You also be able to know what you don't know, and then you will work on it. So just know, like try to review your study method, okay, and also look at your score report and look at like which subjects that you are not doing very well on. How long have you been reading? Okay. If you've been reading and you're almost ready for the exam and you are getting this, then it's not good. But if you are just starting, then I'll say don't worry too much. Just work on those areas that your the score report tells you that are weak. Work on those areas. Do more questions on those areas. Okay, and then give another assessment maybe in 3 weeks and see how it goes. Yeah, I wish you good luck. Let's see this one. We answered this one. Let's see, Mohammed, last question. Random versus subject wise, does it really matter? Does it really matter? And do you convert? Do you convert every new information to flashcard, or are you selective? Personally, I ask myself before I put anything in flashcard, can I remember this information in the next 3 months? Because the volume of information that we are reading is a lot, right? So if you put the information down, you don't see it again in the next 3 months, will you remember? If I will not remember, I'll put it into my flashcard. But if I will remember, then it has no business in my flashcard. So that is how I do my flashcards. Look at it and ask, can I remember in 3 months? When I don't see it until 3 months, can I remember? If you cannot remember, it means that you are not strong in that area. Put it in your flashcard. Now, random versus subject wise. When I'm beginning my first pass, I advise subject wise. Take each subject so you spend more time digesting every subject. But when you come to the second pass, or you are doing your incorrect questions, then you can do random. In the second pass, you are challenging your speed and your ability to reason fast, right? But for first pass, most of the materials are new to you, so take your time and do subject wise for first pass. I hope that answers your question. Let's see next one. So for a new free 120 is 65. So for new free 120 is 65%. I also passing. And do you need higher score? Thanks. 65% is good to pass, right? But I want you to be consistent. Like if you get to the point where you can tell yourself that I'm not going to get anything below 65 no matter what, then you are ready for the exam. But if you feel shaky, like, oh, today you get 65, then next time you get 50 something, then you are not at 55, then your 65 becomes like an outlier, right? But if you know that, oh, all my scores are revolving around 65, like, or maybe I get 62, 60, 65, then maybe I get 70, you know, your average is 65. So you are good to go into the exam. Yeah. Let's see, my last NBME was 63, exam in 4 weeks. Do you think it's bad? It's actually not bad depending on your other NBMEs. How are your other NBMEs? I just told someone that are your scores revolving around the same 63, or this is, or you've taken 10 NBMEs and this is your highest. If this is your highest, then you want to look at the average and see where you will be, right? Because NBMEs are very predictive. It doesn't absolutely tell everybody that, oh, this is what you're going to get, but most people, it tells them that is what they are going to get, you know, at least a pass, and you should be able to pass. Okay. Let's see. Hi Jerry. I hope this meets you well. I sent you a message on WhatsApp, and I'm also in the group, but you didn't respond. I'm really sorry. Like when I started this video, that's what I said. I'm really sorry. I explained that I've been very busy. I'll try to look at it. If you can send me that message again, or just send a reminder. There are several messages I've not been able to read. Okay, there are so many, and this time is very busy for me and overwhelming for me. And I'm beginning my residency actually on Monday. On Monday. So on today's Thursday, right? So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Monday. So 4 days. In 4 days, I'm beginning my residency. So there's a lot to do before I start. Even as I'm talking with you guys now, I still have some modules that I have to finish. I've not even finished them. You know, I did my ACLS this morning, and I still have some videos to watch. And then we have tests on Tuesday. And then we also have another test in the week, you know, right when we start. So that is why if I don't respond to your message, sometimes some of the messages don't come direct, like, you know, just ask me directly what you want so that I respond. But some people will text, hi, hello, how are you, you know, just tell me what you want directly, and that helps me to just go straight to the point. But we are not going to like be exchanging how are you doing, and I'll say I'm fine, then did you eat, you know, how was your day? No, those ones are not important. I hope you understand, you know. Sorry. Let's see how and what to review in between assessment. It's the same NBMEs. Sorry, not NBMEs. It's the same UWorld. It's the same UWorld. Your weak areas. You know, if you finish your first pass, it means you've seen all the materials, right? Now, when you come to second pass, then you start doing your self-assessment. In between the self-assessment, each self-assessment will be telling you your weak areas. So you'll just be working on those weak areas in using your pathoma. If you feel like the topic is what you're not strong at, just do pathoma video quick, do you all questions on that, and you realize that your scores on that system will be jumping. For example, anytime I did hematology, you know, there's a lot of complex things, like hematology is a lot, right? Anytime I did hematology and then I pause, I'll forget. So before I start anything new, I'll go back to pathoma, right? Even step 2, I did same. I'll go back to pathoma and read hematology, not because not because I will not understand. Like, let me say what. Well, it's because my scores are always low in hematology. But once I do pathoma, let's say 1 or 2 days of hematology, my scores are in the 80%, right? So I just need that quick reminder, right? So if you feel that you are weak in any area in between NBMs, that's what you want to be doing. You want to work on those areas to push them also up, you know. Yeah. And then keep doing your flashcards. As for the flashcards, don't stop. until you've taken your exam. More questions are coming. Yeah, thank you, thank you. I hope to have a wonderful journey ahead. I don't know, I don't know what to say. I can't say much right now. But once we start, we'll know what is in there for us. And let's see. Someone says, does percentage matter in you world? Percentage matters sometimes, but at the beginning, it doesn't. Beginning is you're just building concepts, you are just getting used to all the material. So at the beginning, it doesn't matter. But when you're getting close to your exam, you can use you word as an assessment, right? But at the beginning, it's actually not important to focus on how much you are getting. It's focusing on you getting the information out of the U world. You need to get a lot of info out of the U world. Yeah. Let's see this one. As a starter, this is because I have seen a whole lot of stuff, which is quite confusing. So any way or materials that can help guide studying process and prep. Basically, right now I know there's a lot of materials. There's just too much. Everybody's writing their own book, but the traditional materials are UWorld First Aid Pathoma. Those are the gold standard that you should use. UWorld First Aid Pathoma. Then for the first aid, it goes with Boss and Beyond. Stick to those ones, right? Unless maybe there's a topic that Pathoma, you feel like Pathoma is not really explaining it well for you, or you feel like a Boss and Beyond is not really talking about a certain topic very well, then you want to do it elsewhere. For me, Boss and Beyond biochemistry is not my style, so I would rather do it from Dr. Najib. Then somebody will say that Dr. Najib is slow, then I'll increase the speed of his videos. Then somebody will say, okay, I don't understand his accent. Well, then find someone else on YouTube who can better teach you, right? So the traditional resources are the best for me. Yeah. Quickly, so I can cover lots of, okay, I think we answered this question. Let's see. How did you feel after taking step 2 CK? How did you feel? Like, what do you mean feel? Is it right after taking step 2 CK? Like, will I pass? I think the day I took step 2 CK, I made a video about it. I went live and it's on my YouTube channel. You all see it. The reaction was more like, I knew I'll pass because of what I saw in the exam. I knew I'll pass. I didn't know how much I was going to get. There were a lot of concepts that were easy for me because it was like for most of the next best step questions, I have a way of I have my own way of remembering them. So I put them in my flashcard. If you see this and this is what you have to do. If you see this and that, this is what you have to do. Like, let's say once the patient is unresponsive, you are thinking about cardioversion. Now you have to decide, is it synchronized or unsynchronized? Now, if the patient is unconscious, then you're going for unsynchronized, right? So I think I found my own way of remembering most of the questions that were asked next best steps. So when I finished step 2, I didn't feel like a failure. I felt like I'm going to pass. Let's wait for the score. I remember I was talking to one doctor at the time. She was luring me to do family medicine. She was always talking about family medicine. Or as for internal medicine, you need a very high score to do internal medicine. And I'm like, let's wait for my score first before you draw that conclusion that I'm only good for family medicine. And 'cause I wanted internal medicine, but yeah. So at the end of the day, it came out, and then I had a 250, and I felt like at that time, like now I can do my internal medicine if she feels that I need a high score. But actually, you don't need a very high score to do internal medicine. Even a 220 is good for internal medicine. And even 198 is good for internal medicine. 198 is good for internal medicine because it's all about you getting the interviews. It doesn't matter how you get an interview, but when you get an interview, you justify inclusion and you are in. Scores don't really matter. It's how you get the interview and get into the program that matters. Yeah. How many hours have we done so far? Oh, how many minutes? We've done 1 hour, 15 minutes. I think I've given all of you enough of my time, Time is very precious to me now. Let me answer this one. Please, what do you advise me to do in the last month of prep? NBM is 21 to 24. That means you're doing step one. Where about 70%. That is really good. It dropped to 63% for in NBME 29. How about NBME 25 to 28? How about those ones? How are you doing on those ones? I feel like if you are getting 70 to 63 and it's not biased, it's not like if you did them under timed condition, right? Like you did not do them offline, you did them under time condition, then you really replicated the exam. And then that way you are almost ready, right? Just build your confidence and go into the exam and take it. You will be fine. Okay. Yeah, but if there are some people who like before they take an NBME, they talk to people so that they know what is on the what is on the NBME before they take it. There are some people who also like some of the I remember like divine intervention videos. Like I listened to his video and I'm taking NBME and I'm like, this guy has poured NBME for me because he talked about this in his video. So if from his video I'm getting a certain question correct, then it's not really like a true representation of my abilities, like Melman PDF, like some people say that like he has a lot of NBME concepts in it, right? Now, if they are direct from the NBME, then that dilutes the NBME. So you need to really be sure that this purely your knowledge that you are using to get this score. If that is it and you can be truthful to yourself, then I think you are almost ready to go into the exam. Just wrap up and then work on those topics that are weak, learn the NBME images and do some radiology and your anatomy, the brachial plexus, and then the sacral plexus. Those one you surely get questions on them, right? The peroneal nerve, the sciatic nerve, right? And then all the nerve, the median nerve, the ulnar nerve, and then the radial nerve. Work on those ones. If you are able to get those questions correct, that is when you know in the exam that I'm doing well. Because for anatomy, if you are right, you are right. You will know that you got it correct, right? That's the good thing about anatomy. So you can wrap up and go take your exam. Let's do this final one. I'm done with step one with first pass UWorld. I'm looking for study partner to solve a random and on CMS forms. Okay, somebody's looking for a study partner. You can join the step one group. I created a group, USMLE booster group, that you can join if you I think if you check my previous videos, the description, I put a link over there. Just go and look at them, and then you can join the group, and then you find a study partners in there, and you can plan a time that works for all of you. So thanks very much for joining me. Thanks for all your support. Let me answer this final one. What's your method when you use UWorld? When you use UWorld, you complete all blocks, then review or take one by one. When I was doing UWorld, I do like a 40 questions, then I start reviewing. Now, when I'm reviewing, I select only the incorrect ones and review all of them before I review the correct ones, right? That is what I do. So I finish the block. I don't review one after the other, because if something happens and you are not able to finish the block, you'll be left in between, right? So I make sure that I dedicate 1 hour to finish the block. I will finish it, then I would like skim through the answers and see, oh, this is correct, like especially the incorrect, and I'll look at, okay, why it's wrong, or I should have chosen this rather. I look at those that I marked, and so and then look at why I got them wrong before I start reviewing, and I review the incorrects first before I go to the correct ones later, because and when I do the incorrect, I'm adding more knowledge to myself, but when I review the correct ones, it's already knowledge that I have, so I don't really have to waste too much time on, or spend too much time on them. So I spend more time doing my incorrects, reviewing the incorrects, and when I do them first, my energy level is higher, but as time goes on, I get tired. So if I'm more tired and I'm doing the correct ones, I don't really feel it. I don't feel lazy. I don't feel like I don't feel drained. So I try to like work according to my energy level. Yeah. I hope this answers most of your questions. I'll make time in the future. I'll come up with another video. I wish everybody good luck in your studies. Just be patient. There is no rush. You don't need to rush, okay? Because if you don't get good scores, then when you are going into if you are applying for residency, you will be feeling like inadequate, right? But if you take your time and then you get good scores, then yourself, you know that, hey, if I'm talking to somebody, you feel more confident, right? And so, wishing everybody good luck once more, and remember to keep studying. Remember to doing your flashcards. Remember to join groups so that you can find study partners and study with. Very important to me. Study partners have been very helpful. Again, let me say this: I started step one with my study partner, and step two I did with the same study partner, and both of us did step three together, and both of us have matched into internal medicine. So for me, study partner is very good. Get a study partner if you are studying and then maybe you are struggling. Study partner can complement your effort. Good luck to everybody, and I'll see you again in the future. Bye.